Are you a fan of pro wrestling, comedy, and combat sports? Then we have the podcast for you because we cover that and much, much more.
Do you like to debate with your friends? Do we have the perfect segment for you? It's the 531, where we take any given subject, break it down to a top 5. From there, we debate it down to 3, and then into that number 1 spot.
If you want to get a hold of us, find us on our social medias. Search Working Fans Podcast on any major social media platform. And if you want to find the podcast, search for us on any major podcast platform, as well as YouTube.
Working Fans Podcast. We put in the work so you don't have to.
Fans, welcome back for Working Fans Saturday, episode 60, where this week, the man they call Dave and AJ Strangebrew are going to go over their top 5 Ring of Honor wrestlers of all time. But before that, they're going to be discussing their top 5 of the week. Let me play this quick intro video with the other live shows we offer here on The Buzz, and then we'll bring in the guys and get this show started.
You where's the competition? Bring on the competition. We need some competition. Y'all ain't no competition. It's time to ball. Yes, y'all, it's time to brawl. Cause see, we bout to stomp y'all from the jump ball. Me worried not at all. Your team is gonna fall. Hope you learn something from it. Cause we schooling all of y'all. Putting you to shame. Don't hate you even came. Bringing the pain to anybody coming through the lane. Simple and plain. We gon' play it like we playing dames. Ain't got a chance even if we give away the game. So hope you brought your best. Go put your skills to the test. An early off season, about to lay your team to rest. Talk is another loss. That's what it's gonna cost. Go with your instincts if you're having second thoughts. Your buck, this is where it stops, player. From the point to the center, whole team got hops, player. We be the kings of this division, here to knock you out the box, player. Just wait until I get the rock, player. We tired of playing losers. Oh, y'all think y'all some winners? No matter who we up against.
Now, guys, we got in comment because I'm going to join you in your top 5 of the week this week because I think Dynamite delivered, and I plan on talking that later on with Stagger Lee.
You'll be talking about it more than you think.
Violence podcast. But guys, AJ, why don't you start off first? What was your top 5 of the week when your mic's? Oh, you unmuted? I think you're unmuted.
Take care of that, AJ. That's all right. We work on the fly here. So
he got so worried about his thoughts on Dynamite. He's like, I can't share this.
I'm going to talk about my top 5 of the week. I even got a couple honorable mentions. Paul Heyman back with Roman last night on SmackDown. This is an honorable mention because these two work so it's just magic together, and it's the best thing going in that promotion right now. Another thing, we're going to talk more about AEW with this top 5 of the week, but an honorable mention. AEW makes a big deal out of disqualifications. I love this because last night we had a disqualification where Martinez was wrestling Thunder Rosa. So Mercedes Martinez wrestling Thunder Rosa. She hits her with a pipe. It's a disqualification. Immediately Jericho's like, we don't have disqualifications here at AEW. This never happens. And in the back, we have Britt Baker saying how that's not what I wanted. I wanted you didn't get the job done. And Jamie Hayter's like, what do you mean you hired her? And there's this little storyline going there, but we also get back to Britt Baker's like, okay, next time, don't just take her out. Get the win, too. Again, putting importance on the win, and it's not just every day we get a disqualification in this promotion, so it's a big deal. I like that. That's why, even though it didn't make my top 5, I want to make sure to include that. I see AJ's back. So, AJ, before I get into my top 5, since you were the first man on deck, why don't you go ahead, brother?
So I agree with you. I thought that segment was fantastic. That did actually make my top 5. First of all,
it did.
The match was incredible with Thunder Rosa and Mercedes Martinez, and then the storyline that followed up was fantastic. Also, I liked that when Britt Baker said that she hired her, Jamie Hayter, like you said, "What do you mean you hired her?" And Britt Baker actually retorted with, "Well, you weren't getting the job done."
She said some people weren't.
Yes.
Like, you know what she meant. And she looked at Jamie. Yeah.
exactly. And then Jamie Hayter got in Mercedes Martinez's face right afterwards. I also got to tell you, with us being from the great state of Connecticut, they mentioned the fact that she's from the Brass City, which is Waterbury, Connecticut. So
Shout out to Waterbury, baby. I knew a girl out there one time. What's up?
Absolutely.
My
My other moments of the week, I got to give it up for Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman is awesome on the mic as always. Fantastic. I'm going to make it a top 5, even though I almost didn't. Last night with Charlotte and Ronda Rousey, I thought that was actually very well done. I like the fact that Sonya Deville took the bump and not Charlotte, and that they did it that way.
Why don't we do this a little bit? I don't cut you off. You mentioned one and I'll mention one because that's actually on my list too. So
Okay.
I'll put it. So you're at.
I'm going to do your whole list before you get a chance.
You're at 3. I'm going to be at 3 too here. So basically, I got Rousey just coming back to WWE because the Rumble was great. I did not like what she did with Becky as much.
Monday sucked.
I thought she killed it last night. Like they kept it short and sweet. It kept from the heart. It almost didn't sound like an actual scripted promo. She talked about her kid. Like this felt a little more real.
Dude, how real was that shot about the kid from Charlotte?
That was Charlotte being a heel. I think.
Yeah, tell me. No. I don't mean real as in like real.
Okay.
I mean real as in cutting. Like that.
Yes.
That is a sharp comment.
Yeah. Now, so that's my 3 so far. What are your last 2?
So my last 2, one of them's going to actually come from NXT this week, UK. Sorry, I should have said NXT UK all in one sentence.
NXT UK makes a lot more sense. I was like, NXT, what happened there that we should pay attention to?
I know. I was like, dude, like, shit.
NXT UK, I told Dave I was watching it last weekend. I don't watch it enough.
Yeah, UK is fantastic. The match that was going on between Bea Priestley and Socorro. Did I say that right?
No, Satomura. Mako Satomura.
Sorry, it's hard. Me and Dave both speak the good Queen's English. But that match that was going on was, first of all, it was outstanding before Bea got injured. They were beating the crap out of each other. They were freaking killing it.
So Priestley versus Satomura match to check out.
Yeah, that match is something you got to check out. There is a legitimate injury in it.
That's why I'm laughing a little bit. Not because it's funny, but like my top 4, it was Bea Priestley basically tearing out her knees. Check it out. It's gold. I know that's
top 1, AJ, the lady fall down the stairs at the gym this week. Best bump I saw this week.
Vince McMahon's mother died a couple of weeks ago. My number 1 of the week actually has got to be CM Punk versus MJF. If that's not in your top 5 and that's not a match that you enjoyed as a wrestling fan, well, then shame on you.
We talked about that a lot this week, AJ. That's going to be on a upcoming episode, or it'll be on YouTube right now, actually.
On YouTube right now. It'll be on this Friday's coming episode.
Yeah, it's so
we get
well
all
done.
jumbled because we record for now and the future.
We doing it all, baby.
Chopping it up, repurposing.
But I that's going to be on my list too. It's so well done. Where we will be a little different, and I think AJ, he's trying to be a little different, but I know he's going to agree with me on this. Actually, I do have to include the Bryan Danielson promo again when I'm talking my top 5 of the week. Yeah.
You know, absolutely. I think we just flipped. Well, obviously you didn't put Bea Priestley blowing her knee out, but
yes.
Yeah, because you're nicer than I am. But that promo was absolutely insane.
Yeah.
And I'm upset that was not in my top 5.
It's
now.
so well done. I know you were a fan of it. I know it just skipped your mind at the time when we were talking about this.
I just happened to rewatch that match this morning with Priestley and Satomura, and it was absolutely incredible.
Yeah, damn shame the way it ended. Yeah, but
I also jump in real quick with my top 5 of the week.
Joe's got one.
After AJ says what he's got.
Go ahead, Edge.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, I think that they had to change the storyline too. I think Bea Priestley might have been going over.
I think so too. It was a rematch, and they had built her up, but real injuries happen and things change. So
yeah, NXT UK is definitely a promotion to watch. Now, my top 5 of the week, real quick, before we play a quick social media ad and get to the top 5 ROH wrestlers. Dan Lambert promos got to be 5. You guys talked about it on the live show, but American Top Tits made my week. Fourth on the week.
Wait a minute. Was it the comment or the actual tits that made your week?
A little of both. Now, number 4 on my list this week was Lee Johnson and Brock Anderson versus FTR from Rampage. I'm going to go into this a little more on the Unscripted Violence podcast, but I liked this tag match, but it's such a weird tag team.
Wait, I was looking at preparing here a little bit. You talking about that Lee Johnson
and Brock Anderson?
Okay, last week's, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, because
I was like,
thinking about last night's Rampage. That match last week, I just want to say I agree with you. That was a show stealer for me.
Yeah.
Because, Lee Johnson and Brock Anderson kind of fall under the radar. But, man, the chemistry they had, and I know they're talented guys, but, man, FTR obviously probably stirring the ship in that match. Like, it was just beautiful. Beautiful match.
Now, number 3 on my list is just Jon Moxley over the last couple weeks on AEW TV, coming out, being that big star. I want to see where that's going from there. That's been
just like your top 5 is man coming back, getting back on track, getting sober. AJ's top 5, bitch blowing out her knees.
She's gonna be hurt for months. She's gonna be sad. This man's gonna live to see his daughter grow up.
We make you feel good. We bring you down. It's all about a roller coaster here, folks. We're taking you on a journey.
Yeah, Working Fans podcast, we're always a mixed bag. Now, I think I've got a number 2 for you now. And number 2, I'm going to skip it because it's not as important as number 1. And that's the CM Punk MJF match. I just can't say enough about this match. I knew the ending when you guys were talking about it. So when you said you might not want to watch, I had just passed that point. Plus, I had watched reviews, so I knew what I was getting. And this was a 5-star match. They gave us arguably one of the matches of the year early on.
I want to ask you, though, since we're just talking here as fans, this doesn't happen often, and me and you kind of get into a fan conversation. But do you agree with me or AJ, or do you disagree? Wouldn't it have been pretty cool if they ended it with the tape and he choked him out and everybody's just shocked? Or do you think?
Oh, yeah, because that would have 100% gotten the heat. That would have left the place boiling.
Right.
I think what they did was good. Was because they had the place boiling and then you burnt your hand.
Yeah.
And that double disappointment is kind of where they got you. Like, you saw Punk lose twice in his hometown. Yeah. And if MJF doesn't bring that up in promos going forward, I will be very surprised.
That is literally what I said yesterday, was that they did an outstanding job, because the whole crowd, once it got restarted, was like, oh, well, good. CM Punk is going over. And then they were like, no, screw you. He's still not going over.
Yeah, and that's one of the places where wrestling storytelling really gets you, is when they do it well like that. You have to set up that disappointment and then deliver on it.
And I think, like I was telling AJ yesterday, I saw in the comments where people were literally on Instagram, somebody had mentioned, so basically Punk lost twice in his hometown. And then a comment was like, this is bullshit. And I'm like, oh man, they fucking got you, son. Yeah. You're getting worked up. This is a storyline, and it's a good storyline, and you're biting on this you're arguing about your favorite promotion. Is it AEW or WWE? You sound like one of those fans, but you're instead getting pissed off about a kayfabe storyline.
If any, what they did with that comment was prove how good the storyline was. Those comments and the fact that somebody's off is the proof of how good they did.
I mean, actually, we got a real soft generation right now. They get so mad over everything. But actually, real quick, this is nothing to him, but I saw AEW did a little less than 1 million this week. It was a really good number. It was 900-something-thousand. I clicked on that. I didn't even read the comments because I knew the haters were just going to start to come the fuck out because it was the first week they had another 1 million. I'm like, no, I don't even want to see this shit.
That's where it's safest on social media, is to stay out of the comments. I have a quick number 2 for you, because I got the Butts and Seats hardcover edition of Tony Schiavone's comic. Just came in from Kickstarter. It's amazing. Dave's going to be getting the soft cover here soon.
I
got some Blue Chew, so I can get the hardcover later too. What's up?
Actually, I was going to do a service announcement. This is a public service announcement for the generation that is the current wrestling fans. You don't have to be soft, guys. They make Blue Chew for that.
There you go.
Now, guys, we're going to go to a quick Buzz social media ad because you know where to find us on social media, but where do you find the Buzz? And then these guys will give you their top 5 ROH wrestlers of all time.
Get the Lambo car, house in the hills with the stars. Told you I'd raise the bar, told you that I go far. Oh, baby, it's crystal clear. Oh, I'm not a souvenir. Oh, I'm not an accessory, I'm a necessity. So come and check me out now. I'm a necessity, so come and check me out now.
AJ, we're talking top 5 Ring of Honor wrestlers of all time. I am going to just start reading some lists here. Jesse from New Hampshire, he's got a great list. CM Punk, Samoa Joe, Bryan Danielson, Jimmy Jacobs, Tyler Black, little guy
Wow.
people remember as Seth Rollins.
Wow.
Kevin Barrett, he's got Samoa Joe, the Briscoes, Bryan Danielson, Jay Lethal. Sonny Martinez.
Do the Briscoes count as one?
I'll get to that later. Sonny Martinez. He's got Steve Corino, Matt Taven, Jay Lethal, and Jay Briscoe and Jay Lethal. So some people will divide them up.
I know Matt Taven was a champion, but to put him as one of the top 5, shame on you.
Cyrus Young too. I would not put.
Wow.
I like Cyrus Young, but not top 5. We're gonna get. There's a few of these that are gonna work me up a little bit. Actually,
I like all of the wrestlers that people are saying so far, but
some of them are top 5.
This is the top 5
of all time.
Of all time.
Right. Look at this guy here, Roman Hoschak. I'm butchering his name, but Samoa Joe, Danielson, Punk, the Briscoes, Corino. I don't know, whatever you want to put Corino on it, but everybody else. Honorable mention to Austin Aries. Michael Campbell's got Bryan Danielson, Paul London, Samoa Joe, Roderick Strong, Rhett Titus.
Wow.
But it's gonna get better. Kenny Kohler, he's got Punk, Samoa Joe, Tyler Black, Danielson, Cabana. I don't know about that one. All right, this is the one I've been waiting for. Yale Hannon, he's got Joe. I'm gonna take that Samoa Joe, Bryan Danielson, them boys, which I'm gonna take as the Briscoes, Lethal, and then his final one for the top 5 Ring of Honor wrestler of all time.
Is going to get you.
Beer City Brawler. First off, it's the Beer City Bruiser. I hope you're trolling us with this, but that's awful. And I got annoyed. So if you were trolling us, it worked.
I mean this from the bottom of my heart. You suck.
Blair Krieger's got Punk, Steen. That's a good one, having Kevin Steen in there. Samoa Joe, Bryan Danielson, and Roderick Strong. And I just Albert Bettis. I don't know if I've said this name yet. Joe Danielson, Punk Briscoe, Nigel McGuinness.
That's a good one.
That's a good one. And now that I say that, the next one I have here, Jesus Salas Rodriguez. He's got Joe, Nigel, Danielson, Punk, and Lethal.
Nigel is a fantastic one.
Yes, and I think that's I don't want to say that might be it. I might have missed somebody. If I did, thank you for contributing your list. I am going to read my top 5, and then I will leave this with AJ, and then we'll discuss. I got for myself, CM Punk, Bryan Danielson, Samoa Joe. I also had Nigel McGuinness, and I had for a tie the Briscoes, because to me, you got to have these guys on there. And I just think they, it's kind of like talking about the greatest ECW wrestlers. And if you want to put the Dudleys, it's the Dudleys on there. So I had no problem with them going in as a team in this case.
I love the Briscoes. I have the utmost respect for the Briscoes, but they're not in my top 5.
That's fine. What do we got?
Because I got Joe.
Yes.
Nigel.
Yes.
Punk. Danielson. And Steen.
Yeah. And that's a great list. Like, I think that's
I'm not knocking the Briscoes. They could have made my top 5 if I didn't have Nigel. Then I probably would have included them.
And we're not knocking anybody actually on this list.
Oh, no, we are.
Well, there's a few people, probably the Beer City Brawler, but like what my point is, like, there's some good wrestlers, but your top 5 of all time, Colt Cabana, Rhett Titus, no, guys, it's not what they're doing. Yeah, Briscoe's definitely our top 5, no doubt.
And like I said, I'm not knocking them for top 5. They definitely could make the top 5.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying too. Right. It's like when I'm talking about, like, just let's just argue, like, if you want to sub the Briscoes for Steen or Nigel, I don't have a huge problem with that. But
I think because of the time that's gone by, people might underestimate how much Nigel actually meant to it. If you do, go back and watch Nigel versus Danielson, Nigel versus Punk, and then come back and let me know if you don't think he belongs.
But if we're going with the votes on this, I think the Briscoes would get a spot in our final 3.
Yeah, because they did get the votes.
And I do think looking at Punk, here with Briscoe, Lethal, Danielson, McGinnis. Yeah, that's a great list too. I think Joe, and then you got Danielson or Punk. They were almost all included together.
Lethal was gonna make my list until last night.
I'm gonna kick out, believe it or not, because I feel like Joe and the Briscoes had a lot of votes, and I feel like Danielson and Punk are right there, but we only did 3. And out of the 2, I'm gonna say Danielson meant a little more to Ring of Honor.
Okay,
right? That's
I'm with you. Absolutely.
Yeah, we're not talking about wrestling as a whole and who has the bigger draw.
Absolutely.
Right. And this is arguable. And so that being said, with AJ, I am going to agree though, out of these 3, I would kick the Briscoes out first, and then I would have this down to Joe and Danielson. Now, when you look at Samoa Joe, let's say if we just take his work as an independent wrestler, what he did with Impact, and what he did with Ring, and these companies, by the way, are arguing not even independent; they're big promotions.
The problem is Joe doesn't have as much time in Ring of Honor, even though he was important to Ring of Honor's beginning.
Yeah,
he went to TNA relatively early, and he did go back and forth between the 2, but he went to TNA to Impact early on, whereas Danielson has a little bit bigger of a pool there.
I was gonna say, I just like Danielson's body of work more in Ring of Honor. But when you talk about so I think we're in agreement. Danielson will be our number 1 Ring of Honor wrestler of all time. But I want to add this too, because we just saw in the comments there, such a vast talent pool for so many years, so many great people. We didn't even talk about Christopher Daniels, like the Motor City Machine Guns, Frankie Kazarian, the Bucks, obviously, were in Ring of Honor, Cody and Kenny. Everybody had a chance. It's incredible talent pool to pull from. And we were all kind of sad that Ring of Honor dropped off, but I do have to say it's kind of funny now that Ring of Honor's disappeared, but they're coming back with Super Card of Honor, and it looks like they're going to try to do this super independent promotion where they might not have too many people on contract. I'm kind of excited more about Ring of Honor than ever been. With Jonathan Gresham going from promotion to promotion, defending the Ring of Honor title. To me, Ring of Honor has more steam now than it did when it was regularly putting stuff on TV.
No, I agree. It seems like they're doing a really good job of repackaging themselves. They're doing a good job of branding with other people. Mm-hmm. I do have to tell you, I'm a little disappointed in myself and other people because I think somebody got left off the list that should have been on the list somewhere. Cesaro as Claudio.
Yeah.
Was one of the all-time greats for Ring of Honor, and his body of work in that early time with Nigel McGuinness, with Bryan Danielson. Go back and check that out. You'll see why people love Cesaro so much and why we feel like he hasn't gotten a fair break in the WWE.
Yeah, so much talent. I don't know if a lot of people had Jay Lethal mentioned enough.
And I love Jay Lethal also, and he could have easily made my list, but this was a hard one for a top 5 just because so many people over the last 20 years were so intricate. And now you've got Ring of Honor coming out with a Hall of Fame, and the Briscoes were the first ones in there. But how do you limit that class?
It's funny. You mentioned Claudio. Another guy that slipped we didn't mention, Chris Hero.
Absolutely.
That's another great one. So,
and talk about someone the WWE shit on.
Cassius Ohno, baby? Oh, no.
Oh.
I had to throw a very awkward elbow because I forgot the mic was right.
they might as well just put polka dots on him and call it a day.
Oh, just a common man, baby, if you will. Well, I'm excited about the future of Ring of Honor. Actually, I thought that they would not be back this year, but now that I see Jay and everybody working with Impact, I know some of those guys Impact signed, like PCO. I'm pretty sure Matt Taven, right? But it is pretty cool, and I have to say, seeing them in other promotions, like Ian Riccoboni, like I'm really appreciating him as a commentator. I'm really just appreciating. Actually, it's kind of funny. I watched Impact this week, and I'm pretty sure Bobby Cruz didn't just call the Ring of Honor match. I think he called all the matches, and I'm like, hey, where's Dave Penzer at? Dave.
I like the fact that Impact has a working relationship with Ring of Honor. So allowing them to sign the guys to give them a regular paycheck all year, and then they'll be able to also work the Ring of Honor spot shows. So,
and just seeing Deonna Purrazzo with the Ring of Honor Women's Championship, and she's got the AAA Women's title, and then we still have Mickey fresh off the Royal Rumble with the Knockouts belt. Like,
the only title Deonna Purrazzo doesn't have is the organization she belongs to.
Would it be something if we're spinning off a little bit here, but Mickey works with NWA too? Wouldn't it be something if Mickey got the NWA Women's title and then her and Purrazzo met and all the belts were on the line?
Yeah, unify all of them.
That would be some shit. And then AEW is always open for business.
Yeah.
Actually, we will close on this since we're just talking about wrestling for the week here. Tony Khan had a tweet that came out today about Open Door. Did you hear this, AJ?
No, I haven't seen anything yet today.
All right, I will show you this then.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dave is bringing you breaking news.
Let's see. All right, here we go. The big announcement for Wednesday Dynamite that was referenced on AEW Rampage, a free agent debut, and the person walking through the forbidden door are one and the same. They're walking in the door, signing a contract, and then slamming the door shut Wednesday on AEW Dynamite. So, I think what we're implying here from what I talked to, actually, so here's another tweet.
Is this the last person in the door?
Well, here's another tweet that might shed some light on this. The forbidden door can be open for anyone from any wrestling promotion in the world, whether or not it's a company on good terms with AEW, or even if it's someone from a company that's open for business. You might remember Triple H said that before when talking about open for business. They're also welcome to slam the door in the face of their prior company. So that implies to me this is somebody who recently just came up. And I think you're looking at a guy like Karrion Kross, Keith Lee, or maybe even a Bray Wyatt, unless I don't know if they specified it had to be a guy. So this could be Mia Yim. There's a lot of people. So
wow.
Thank you, WWE, for help keeping AEW's talent fresh.
you now have me very excited for Wednesday.
I'm very excited.
Good job on that one.
Yeah. So on that note, this is Dave. This is AJ. We're here on Working Fans Saturday for the Buzz.
We do the work so you don't have.